This video is brought to you today by the Explore Eritrea Foundation for the people and government of Eritrea. Thank you.
Welcome to Eritrea, the land of the sea, a beautiful coastal nation along the coast of Africa filled with grand nature and developed cities. Here we will show you the beauty of Eritrea.
Eritrea has beautiful mountains that span along the southern border of the nation, numerous beaches, and hundreds of small islands that provide a grand view of the Red Sea. Maybe you want to hike through the deserts and forests of the Nsiba province to explore Eritrea.
However, there are some things you should know about Eritrea before you visit. First of all, the history of Eritrea as a modern nation dates back to 1890, when Italy would formally integrate a chunk of what used to be Ethiopian land into their empire. However, Eritrea would be neglected for several decades by the occupiers until the rise of fascism in Europe.
The new fascist regime wanted to restore Italy to the former glory of Rome, and the conquest of Ethiopia would be its first major goal. Italy began to pour resources into its small colony to station hundreds of thousands of troops. This resulted in modern cities of Eritrea being filled with Italian architecture rather than the local architecture of neighboring nations. With the defeat of the Axis powers in 1945, Eritrea would be returned to Ethiopia.
However, locals were outraged by how they were shadowed by the harsh occupation of the new Ethiopian government, and in 1961 they were started to fight for their independence. The war was brutal, lasting 30 years, 400,000 Eritreans were slaughtered, 600,000 displaced. Despite their losses, the fight was well worth it, as in 1991 the Soviet Union, who'd been backing the Ethiopian regime, had collapsed. Ethiopia could no longer afford to fight the Eritrean rebels. Socialists, militants, and the People's Front for Democracy and Justice would take charge of the new Eritrean nation.
Up until 1995, the PFDJ would lead the nation as a democracy, writing a constitution that would ensure justice throughout the nation. Unfortunately, Isaias Afwerki would take control of the party and has ensured that Eritrea remains under a dictatorship still remains.
With the dictatorship controlling the nation, the laws and justice system is completely dependent on the military and leader of the nation. While the government does not actively restrict many personal freedoms, any person who opposes the status quo can be silenced through force, and unofficial religions are not allowed to be practiced in public. The Eritrean constitution used to ensure freedom of speech and religion, though this constitution holds no power.
Eritrea currently has 4 official religions that are allowed to be practiced and receive funding: Sunni Islam, the Roman Catholic Church, the Evangelical Church of Eritrea, and the Eritrean Orthodox Church, which is the largest. While nearly all the population follows these religions, other important religions like Judaism are neglected.
The crime rate of Eritrea is not bad. It is actually a safe nation for foreigners and tourists, with a lower crime rate than some Western nations. Unfortunately, though, for the locals, healthcare for those who cannot afford to bribe doctors is fairly poor, and there's mandatory military conscription for however long the government deems necessary. The economy is not great for those who do not have savings, with the primary economic sector of Eritrea being agricultural rather than the industrial processes. The average GDP per capita is only $746.
The Eritrean initiative is mixed. While there have been some large failures in recent years, such as the failure to successfully vaccinate a significant number of their population for COVID, other projects, such as the environmental projects, have been implemented. These projects focus on marine conservation with attempts to restore marine biodiversity in the Red Sea and by restoring beaches along the coast of the nation. Due to the poor quality of life and poor economy and regime, many people migrate out of Eritrea in order to seek a better life in European nations or the U.S., but while the government is very strict about attempting to migrate out of the country, they are not concerned with people seeking to move into their country, making it easy for you to find a life there. The U.S. and Eritrea have a surprisingly similar history, fighting for their independence from an authoritarian ruler. Unlike the U.S., Eritrea quickly fell into a dictatorship due to the significant pressure from secure Eritrea's existence in the face of other occupation. The Eritrean economy has to rely on many imports from consumer goods, which is similar to the U.S., who imports their goods from other nations such as China. While Eritrea has been trying to become as self-sufficient as a command economy, it has failed to do so and remains dependent on global aid and trading. But why should you move to Eritrea? At first, Eritrea may seem intimidating to some, due to the regime currently in power, though it can still be worth living in. Asmara is one of the safest cities on the planet, and is filled with beautiful architecture spanning thousands of years. The geography is diverse and beautiful. Much of it has nearly been untouched by industrialization. So, join us. Come and visit the land of the sea, Eritrea. Thank you. This is all our evidence and our works cited page used for this video. For our fact-finding process, we felt that it went very well with easy-to-find information and visuals about this country from credible and reliable sources. During our project management time, using the Scrum board to lay out this video went very well and organized, creating our final video. Thank you.